Last week, the federal government, through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, came out with a press statement complaining about the report that was issued by the United States Commission on International Religious Freedom. It was complaining that the report may not have covered Nigeria, reported Nigeria correctly. Evidently, what the ministry was reacting to, it now appears, is not the report, but reports in newspapers about what was supposed to be contained in the report. This is because the report did not do anything different from what it had done, what it had reported in the previous years about Nigeria. I am Rima Shaulu. This is The Other Side. Of course, it was not just the federal government that complained about the report. Another group, a Hausa-based group, also complained about the report and said that the comments that were made regarding the Fulani, that they were also being attacked in Nigeria, was not correct. What are the contents of the report? What are the things that the commission actually reported that people in Nigeria or people in government are not happy with? Among other things, the report listed states like Borno, Kano, Kaduna, Adamawa, and Benue State, where people have been displaced, attacks have taken place, and so many people killed. It listed out those areas and spoke also about the killing of some killings and kidnapping of some reverend fathers that took place in Benue State, in Minna, and other places in Nigeria. It also spoke about the fact that Fulani herders killed one Pastor Daniel Dambeki of the Evangelical Church, Winning All, along with his wife and 41 others in Nasarawa State. In addition, the report also spoke about things like the killings that took place in Sokoto, over the student that was killed in Sokoto for alleged blasphemy, and the fact that the people who were arrested for the killing were released without any trial or without receiving any punishment. It also spoke about the fact that one Yahaya Sharif Aminu and one Mubarak Bala were also being tried for alleged blasphemy. And there was a case in Bauchi State of a lady who had to be saved, was in detention for so long because she made complaints against the killing, the mob killing of the student Deborah in Sokoto State. The commission also made recommendations to the US government about Nigeria. In all, there are about 6 recommendations, and these included the following: that Nigeria should be designated a country of particular concern, or CPC, for engaging in systematic and ongoing and egregious violations of religious freedom as defined by the International Religious Freedoms Act. That is a law that was made by the United States Congress in 1998. That is the law that also established this commission. The second recommendation is that Boko Haram and ISWAP should be redesignated entities of particular concerns, or EPCs, for engaging in systematic violations of religious freedom as defined by the Act. The third recommendation is that the United States government should appoint a special envoy for Nigeria and Lake Chad to maximize U.S. diplomatic efforts to address religious freedom violations and atrocity risk in Nigeria and the Lake Chad basin. The fourth recommendation is that diplomatically, financially, and administratively, the U.S. government should support Nigerian civil society organizations to coordinate a national dialogue on implementing United Nations Human Rights Council resolutions 1618 and to promote religious freedom while safeguarding freedom of expression. The Congress it was also recommended to the Congress that it should revitalize its bipartisan caucus on Nigeria, and that it should also request that the Government Accountability Office in the United States should investigate the effectiveness of U.S. assistance to Nigeria in achieving religious objectives in the country. You will wonder why there was such an uproar about these recommendations that were made, because these recommendations are simple recommendations that have been made and are still being made about countries. And in my opinion, these recommendations do not appear to have religious coloration or so forth. And it is instructive to note that this is not the first time reports have been made to the United States government from this organization, except in the year 2000. For most of the years that this organization has existed, from when it started making reports to the Congress in 2000, Nigeria has always been mentioned, partly because of the introduction of Sharia, the several crises and conflicts that take place between Muslims and Muslims, the events that took place between the Shiites and the federal government, as well as the ongoing and obviously systematic invasion of rural Nigeria, where churches are being destroyed in communities that are largely Christian. The fact also is that this commission does not just talk about Nigeria, it talks about all countries in the world. From the year 2000 to date, the commission has issued reports on the state of international religious freedom across the world. Countries such as Eritrea, Sudan keep coming up. Iran keeps coming up. China keeps coming up. Burma keeps coming up. Nigeria keeps coming up. And the reports that this organization has been making over the years speak about the violations of rights and victimization of people based on their religion or belief across the world. If you look at the current report that they have, that is, if you look at the year 2024 report, you will see that the victims as listed by the commission include people of all faiths. For instance, the Baha'i faith has about 166 people listed as having been victimized this year. If you look at the total figure of the people that have been victimized, out of the over 2,000 people that have been victimized, 2,228 people that have been victimized, the Muslims, for instance, appear to have the highest number of people of faith that have been victimized. If you look at the statistics that they have, which I'm showing you on the screen now, you will see that the Muslim Ahmadiyya, you've had 20 victims last year. You have the Muslim Quranist, 1 person, the Muslim Shia, 39, Muslim Sufi, 63, Muslim Sunni, 406, and other Muslims that are not categorized, you have up to 232 victims, people that have been victimized this year. If you move up, you also see that the Christians have been victimized. The Catholic Church, you have 57 victims. Christian Church of God Almighty, 236, and Jehovah's Witness have 282 people that were victimized last year. Protestants, 139, and other Christian faith, you have 64. If you take a look at the global statistics, the graph that was created by this agency, again, if you look at your screen, you will see of the total number of people that have been victimized, according to this report, the Muslim Sunni have 18% of them. Orthodox, other categories of Muslims, 16%. Jehovah's Witnesses or Jehovah's Witness, 13%. Church of God Almighty, that's a Christian group, 11%. Falun Gong, I think a group in China, they have 10%. You have 9% other specified or unknown, 7% Baha'i, 6% unspecified Christians, 6% Protestants, and 4% Tibetan Buddhists. So this group, this agency appears to be concerned about people of all faith, it does not really matter whether the people being victimized are Muslims or Christians. This is why if you look around, if you check, you will see that the report that the commission has brought up, the reports have come out strongly over the years to speak about the Muslims that have been victimized in Burma. Of course, because the United States government, the United States is a plural society, the people who have been appointed commissioners, at least those that served up to last year, include people from all religions. Among the commissioners, people that were commissioners up to last year is a congressman from Gulf, the man who did the bill to set up the organization. And then you have a Muslim imam, is a member, you have black people, you have Asians, and people of all faiths are part of the group. As a plural society, the United States makes efforts to ensure that people from all faiths are involved in what it is doing. Unlike most parts of the world, wherever a group is dominant, it tries to dominate and even prevent other groups from growing up. This happens in almost all the countries of the world, with the exception so far of Western Europe. That includes the United States. And I'm surprised that people are complaining about the recommendations, the penalties that were recommended by this organization. I don't think that declaring or redesignating Boko Haram and ISWAP persons of concern who should have embargoes, who should have sanctions placed on them, should be a concern to the federal government. This actually should have been recommended by the federal government. Again, it appears that what we've heard over the years, that if you want to hide anything from a black man, you should put it into writing, has come into place. It does appear that the people who wrote the response of the federal government may not actually have read the report, which is available on the website of the organization. As a matter of fact, all the reports of the organization from the first report in 2000 up to last year, 2024, are published and they are available. And of course, it is also not the first time that the United States that this commission has recommended that Nigeria should be of particular interest. It did so, I think, 3 times when President Biden was president of the United States, but he refused to take he refused the recommendations of the Congress and went ahead to leave Nigeria the way it was. It's very unlikely that the current president, that is President Donald Trump, will just leave the recommendations the way they are. It's very likely that President Trump will go ahead to increase more sanctions on Boko Haram and all the people that are associated with Boko Haram. It is also very likely that President Trump will try to make efforts, which the Nigerian government has not successfully made, to fish out those people who are alleged to be behind the sponsorship of ISWAP and Boko Haram. Some of the people, as you notice, as you have heard, were recommended to the federal government by the government of UAE, that is Dubai, and the federal government has not published any actions that it took against the people whose names were given to it by the government of the UAE to have been participating in the financing the activities of Boko Haram. And if the United States government does this, is it a bad thing for Nigeria? I don't think that it's a bad thing for Nigeria. It will be good if Nigeria actually grows up to be a plural society where everybody will practice his religion without fear, where people can request for land and build their churches or places of worship or their mosque without people molesting them. It will be good if Nigeria actually becomes a country where your religion is not used against you, where you are looked at not because you are looked at and favored or disfavored, not because of your religion or where you come from, but because of what you can offer to the society. And I think this organization is doing the country, Nigeria, a great service. It will be good if President Trump will read these reports and take up the recommendations and follow them the way the Commission has recommended. My name is Romande Shawulu. This is The Other Side.